If you have been numb for so long that you barely recognize your own emotions, you can't tell what you're feeling or what you're thinking, then this video is for you. I want to talk today about healing depression naturally. One of the most powerful natural ways to begin healing depression is learning how to name, how to feel, and how to release our emotions in healthy ways without any guilt or shame. Today, I want to show you why that matters, what the science says, and some very simple things that you can start practicing to help you feel better right now. Hi, I'm Dr. Goodwin. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician, and I also live with multiple chronic illnesses, including recurrent depression myself. Over the past 10 years, I've counseled hundreds of patients in my office about depression across thousands of office visits, and I've lived with it in my own body since I was a teenager. And here's the truth, emotions are not weaknesses as much as they feel like they are, especially at work when we're constantly told that we have to be calm and never get upset or emotional about anything. They're simply part of our biology. And if you don't name them and process them, they build up like pressure behind a dam. And we all know what happens when that dam bursts. Today, I want to talk to you about how emotions like guilt, shame, anger, and sorrow all show up in depression and why giving yourself permission to feel them is actually the path towards healing. The first thing that happens when you're dealing with depression and you start to feel a little bit better, the first emotions that usually come up for people are guilt and shame. And that's because when you come out of the numbness, you look around your house and you realize it's a mess. You haven't had a shower in a week. You haven't gotten any of your extra things done. You haven't exercised. Maybe you're behind at work or at school. We oftentimes feel so guilty for all of the things we should have been doing and shame that we're struggling at all. Here's the problem. Guilt and shame don't motivate us to heal. They just shut us down and make us feel worse. In fact, our research shows that self-blame, agreeing with that guilt and shame, saying there's something wrong with me here, I'm a bad person, actually activate brain circuits that worsen our depression symptoms. So guilt and shame, they are a trap. Here's a tool that I use myself. When guilt comes up, I literally name it. I will say out loud, this is just me feeling guilty. This is not the truth. I don't need to feel guilty about being sick. You can't help that. Naming the emotion out loud helps break that cycle and then redirect yourself back into self-compassion, saying, I give myself space to heal. I understand that I'm going through something that I didn't choose. I know that I can heal because guilt and shame, they're not a part of the recovery. They're a part of the actual illness. The next trap that tends to come up for every single one of us, and I know that I've used this myself time and time again, is anger. Oftentimes, anger comes with energy. When you're feeling depressed, you feel really sad, and that can make us feel weak and tired, and we don't want to move or do anything. Anger feels like a safer emotion in those moments because anger gives you energy. It feels like something that can help you keep moving. A lot of us have done things out of spite towards other people because it's an emotion that gets us moving. It can give you a temporary boost, but it's like throwing lighter fluid on top of a fire. And here's the problem. That lighter fluid can burn hot and fast, but then it's gone. Long term, we end up having to try to find more things to be angry about in order to continue having the energy that we're using to get things done. Anger raises our stress hormones, it raises our cortisol, increases our inflammation, and actually worsens our depression. Instead of using your anger as fuel, try safe releasing practices like moving your body. I know that I like to go for a walk or maybe go for a run if I'm feeling angry, or journal it all out in my journal, write it down, talking it through with someone that you trust. Some of my friends like to bake bread so they can punch the dough or pull weeds in their garden. What you need to do is feel that emotion. Recognize that anger is a signal. It tells you that something's wrong. Somewhere along the line, one of your boundaries has been crossed. You're feeling hurt or guilty or betrayed by someone. Underneath anger is always a deep well of sorrow and sadness. And sometimes we have to process that sadness before the anger will pass. But I highly encourage you to take the time to figure out why you're angry. And then even if it doesn't necessarily feel good, because letting go of anger and feeling sad can make you feel tired again, recognize that that is the next step in healing. Anger is not meant to be your power source. We want to move out of purpose, out of joy, out of love. We don't want to move out of anger or fear. Now, the next one is probably one of the most important ones when it comes to healing depression, and that's crying. I know everybody doesn't like to cry. I don't like it either. Actually, I kind of hate crying because I snot so much and it always gives me a terrible headache. But crying is not weakness. It's part of our body's normal biology. Studies show that emotional tears, ones that we cry from anger or sorrow or laughter, they're chemically different from what we call reflex tears, like when you cut an onion. Emotional tears actually carry stress hormones, such as our cortisol, in it. And so when you cry, you actually physically excrete those hormones out of your body. It's flushing the stress out of your system, literally, and helping your body's nervous system to reset. That's why we feel so much better after we have a good cry. So when sorrow rises, when you recognize that you're feeling sad, please let yourself cry. Just cry it out. I know that in our society, we really look down on people who cry, but it's an incredibly important part of how our bodies work. So cry in the shower. It'll hide the blotchiness and the red skin. Or cry in your car. Or curl up at the end of the night, put on a specific song to help your body feel like it's in a safe space, and then use that song over and over again so your body knows this is a time where I'm safe and I can release these emotions and I can cry it out. Don't judge yourself. Don't shut it down. Tears are the body's built-in release valve. And once that sorrow is expressed, I promise you, it does lift. It will pass. And then there's space for the joy to come back into your life. All right, so let's talk about how we practice emotional expression in healthy ways in our daily life. Here are 4 simple tools that are backed by science. Number 1, name it out loud. UCLA research shows that naming emotions, literally saying, I feel sad about this, or I feel scared about this, activates the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain that uses reasoning, and calms down the amygdala, which is the part of your brain that feels fear and just reacts to things. That will help you actually understand and see what you need to do next more clearly. Number 2, journal it out. I love journaling. Decades of research shows that expressive writing, actually writing down all of the things you want to say to somebody, all of the things you're upset about, all the things that you're feeling, all the swear words that you don't want to say out loud, can actually reduce your depression symptoms and even improve your immune system function. Writing your emotions down externalizes them, and then they stop endlessly cycling over and over and over in your head. For my patients who have trouble sleeping, this is the number 1 thing that I recommend. If you write everything out before you go to bed, you actually won't stay awake laying at the ceiling thinking about these things over and over again. It is like magic. I love it so much. Number 3 is dance. Any kind of movement paired to music. I do not mean that you need to take a dance class. You do not need to be a prima ballerina. We have done so many studies that have showed the benefits of exercise in depression, but when they actually looked at which types of exercise benefited people the most, dance stood out by a large number. You want to pair physical movement with music. Pick a music that matches your mood, whether you're feeling happy or anxious or sad. Pick something fast or upbeat or slow. And then if you don't want anybody else to see you or hear you, put in your headphones, close your blinds in your bedroom or in your living room, and then just dance it out. You do not have to actually use any specific moves. You just want to release that emotion in your body. I tell my patients, dance like an idiot, 5 minutes a day. You will be amazed at what a huge difference it makes for you. And number 4 is the last one that we've already talked about, having a good cry. Please let it happen. Your tears are not a failure. They're a sign that your body is doing the work of healing. And I want to stop here for a moment to say that I'm talking about the guys too. This is not just for women. Men need to cry as well. I know that in our society, just about every male patient that's come into my office has been like, I am not allowed to cry. That is not something that we do. but you actually still need to. Your bodies still have the same stress release mechanism. You still need to take a break. You still need to cry it out. If this is resonating with you, I want you to know that I go into much greater depth in my video course on depression. I have been working for so long to take the counseling that I normally give my patients in the office and make it available to people online. It's 46 videos, over 6 hours of content. It would take me more than 25 doctor's visits to give you all of that counseling in person, and it's all for less than the cost of a single doctor's visit. This is all the guidance that I've given patients for over a decade, plus the tools that I've used myself to get through major depressive episodes. So if you are ready for a structured, step-by-step guide to healing, you'll find the course linked in the description below. Finally, I want to leave you with one of the most important things, and that is the importance of hope. Hope is not toxic positivity. It's not pretending that everything is fine. It's not this blind belief that suddenly, miraculously, everything's going to be fixed tomorrow. Hope is the belief that change is possible, that a better, brighter future could happen. And your brain actually needs that belief in order to rewire itself. Research shows that even small doses of hope, whether you're just looking forward to something that's going to happen this weekend or really focusing on the one positive part of your job and hoping that you can enjoy it tomorrow, or just actually saying, hey, I hope that sometime in the future, I can actually feel better. I believe that it's possible in the future that I can feel better. That activates reward pathways in your brain. It boosts your dopamine, even just thinking about it. And it supports changing the neurons in your brain into healthier thought patterns and processes. That means even a tiny thought like I can get through today has real, true biological power. Hope is fuel for your healing. Depression oftentimes makes us feel like our emotions are dangerous. It can sometimes feel easier to stay numb than to start feeling our feelings, mostly because the first feelings that come up are usually guilt and shame, sorrow, and anger. But the truth is, working through those emotions are your pathway to healing. Every single one of them has a message to give you. And if you can hear it out, if you can name the emotion, if you can say, why are you feeling it? What has happened to you? Feel that emotion, sit with it for a few moments, allow that discomfort to be present, and then release them. Your brain and your body can begin to recover the balance that it needs. It's not normal for us to go through life feeling nothing but happy all the time. I wish that it was, but that just isn't how our brain and how our biology works. We're made to feel the whole spectrum of emotions. And it's important for us that we take the space and time to do that, even in a culture that only values positivity. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs the encouragement. Don't miss my last video, which goes over the biology of depression, and you can find it right here.